welcome to another Oshkosh Public Library video book break. And in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, as you can tell in my green, we are going to be focusing on Irish books. The first one I'm going to talk about is by Thomas Cockwell, called Stealing Lincoln's Body. And this is about, it's a true story, about a very little known historical event that happened. And it involves some Irish American, a gang out of Chicago, who had a friend in jail due to his counterfeit escapades. And they decided they wanted to get their friend out of jail. So they came up with this plan to steal Abraham Lincoln's body, hold it for ransom for $200,000, and also to get their buddy out of jail. So this book is basically about this escapade or event, how they planned it, what happened, and how the reaction of the Lincoln family was to this event. I'm not going to give any other details away. All I'm going to say is Abraham Lincoln was buried 3 times. The next book I'm going to talk about is The Lighthouse Keeper by James Michael Pratt. And it's about an Irish gentleman, Peter O'Banion, who was the former lighthouse keeper at the Port Hope Lighthouse. And he has come there in his final days of life with his daughter Kathleen, who he never really was around when she was growing up. And he shares his life stories and also stories of the family to her. One of the stories he talks about is Uncle Billy raising him since his parents, Peter's parents, had died when he was very young. And Uncle Billy basically told him the secret of contentment and ageless love. And he is there to tell Kathleen about this secret so she can carry it on. So it's a very delightful book, kind of sad at times, but it's very interesting to hear about the secret of contentment and ageless love. Very good read. Another fiction book is called An Irish Country Doctor by Patrick Taylor. And this is the first book in a series, the Irish Country series, and there are 4 total. There's this one, The Irish Country Village, The Irish Country Christmas, and a new one that just came out called The Irish Country Girl. And this is about a young man, Barry, who has just gotten out of medical school, and he's all enthusiastic about his first job in a rural town called Badly Buckle Boo, which is a fictitious town, so it does not exist in Ireland. So he goes to this town to start his first time as a medical doctor, and he's all excited until he meets his supervisor. And his supervisor is very old and codgy and set in his ways, and whatever he says is what goes. So he's kind of has to adjust to that. And also some of the characters in the village he has to deal with, the major and his hypochondriac wife, and an unwed servant who will not tell anybody who the father is of her unborn child. So if you really get into this one, you have 3 more to read, and they are very great. We have many people who read them and rave about them. Another book I'm going to talk about is a book called The Truth About the Leprechauns by Bob Curran. Now, this is usually what people think a leprechaun looks like. Well, this is not what they say leprechauns look like. And let me just read a little bit in this book that this Mr. Curran has written. Far from being the jolly little fellow who appears on postcards and ornaments from Ireland, then the leprechaun is a surly, miserly, mischievous, and antisocial being. Rather than being sought out by mortals, he was more likely to be feared. So when you see that lucky charm, Leprechaun, no way. According to the truth about leprechauns, totally wrong. Great book, talks about the origin, the myths. Green, leprechauns don't wear green, they kind of wear a purplish green. So if you're really curious about the true leprechaun and how people fear him, great book to read, The Truth About Leprechauns. And of course, Irish, you have to include Irish food. Scottish-Irish Pub and Hearth Cookbook. Over 170 recipes. The classics, corned beef and cabbage, baked salmon, and soda bread. But there's also some of other favorites that some people have never heard of. There's something called Dublin Coddle, which is a stew made out of sausage and potatoes. And throughout the book, the person who wrote this, K. Shaw Nelson, also kind of gives some Irish stories, legends, and lores. So you can also learn about Ireland and the Irish. One thing that the Irish make a lot is tea breads. And usually they put some kind of fruit in them or raisins. And a lot of times they will let them sit for a day or two. And then they have them with their cup of tea. So, pick up a good book, one of these or many of the others that we have at the library. Get your cup of tea. I made some Irish lemon walnut tea bread out of the cookbook. I'm going to sit and have my tea and my bread and enjoy a good book. Thanks for watching another one of our book breaks. We have many ideas and suggestions on our website, so please come in and visit us for a good read.